How you been? Where are
So
you at right now? What city you in now?
I'm in San Francisco. I'm at Mel's Diner,
Oh
of
man,
course,
love
you
it.
know, and the manager said I could sit in the corner and take this call. I'm meeting a friend for dinner, and I was like, well, I have to take this call. I was going to take it in my car, and I was like, well, no, I'll give you in true San Francisco fashion, right?
I love it. I love it. Is that the one on? Is it on Geary or is that the
It's
one?
on Geary. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So
love it.
I'm here on Geary, and in typical tech world fashion, I had to download the app, the Google Meet app, before I got on the call.
Well,
So
I very much appreciate it. I actually have fond memories of that specific Mel's Diner. One of my best friends growing up lived literally right across the street. There's a little like 3-story complex across the street there. So many
okay,
late nights at the Mel's Diner there,
yeah,
or early mornings sometimes.
yeah, thank you. Yeah,
And your open
no,
mic's not too far from there, right?
no, it's just about 5 minutes down the road.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
And then do you play there regularly other nights too?
Sometimes they'll have me play on a Saturday or something like that. Uh, they have they have other things going on during the week that like tonight's Friday. I think they have karaoke there. Um, but yeah, so they and usually Saturdays are open. They keep Saturdays open for live music or some type of special event. So they don't have a set thing always on Saturdays. So
Got it.
actually, I think it'd be a really good spot to. They have the sound system in there is really good now. I don't know if it was always so good, but I think it's a really good spot for people doing coastal tours or
Mhm.
um I know there's a place in Pacifica. I think Winter's Tavern. People stop and play there sometimes when they're doing, coastal like punk rock shows, just
Oh
different
yeah.
types of bands. I don't know if you've ever been to that place.
No, not the one in Pacifica, no.
Yeah,
But yeah, I very much appreciate you. I mean, being up for this. I know I've known you for several years now, and was super stoked that you said yes. And just want to start by saying welcome to the Great Wide Open Mic. You're one of the first few guests that I'm interviewing here, and I was super stoked to get you because I just have tremendous respect for your talents, your skill sets, your songwriting, and I wanted to just kind of have a conversation with you and
yeah,
hopefully inspire other people who are. I mean, I'm starting this whole thing because I'd really love like a global open mic community where we're all kind of supporting each other and listening to novices brush shoulders with experts on any given night. And that's kind of my favorite thing about open mics.
yeah,
um, but what I wanted to ask you, I mean, just to kind of kick things off, is, I know very little about kind of your upbringing, how music influenced you early on. What
yeah,
was your home life like with music involved? Was it, a ton of music? Did you get inspired by your parents, or, how did that all go?
yeah. We can talk about that. And actually, before I get going, I know I asked you before, but if I stop talking, so you cannot hear all of that background noise or too much
It's,
of it.
it's very light, and just, kudos to Google Workspace, but I just upgraded with the noise cancellation in the background. And so it's pretty
I,
nice.
I mean, it's loud in here, but I'm wearing noise canceling. The Pro AirPods, and they're just I can't believe it. Actually, I have a buddy that told me that I had to get these because they'll make a difference if I'm taking a call or doing something remotely and so I was like, well, I'll put these to the test. So anyway, so you
To
asked
your
the
point, and before we even get any further, I bought a nice like a Bluetooth headset because I work remote, and I'm constantly taking meetings. And I was like, I wonder like how much I can get away with it. And I tested it, but like I could literally be driving and on a meeting, and they can't hear me in the background, like they can't hear anything. And I kind of tested it with
interesting.
my wife. But yeah, so it's incredible what they're doing now with the in-ear headphones.
Yeah. Um. So yeah. Home life. Yeah. I always remember singing. My mom would sing, just if she was cooking or pop culture. A song came on the radio, she would sing in the car. If sometimes my dad would walk in the kitchen and he a song would just kind of a song would come into his heart, right? And he would, start singing. You're never fully dressed without a
Right.
smile. So
Now, did you
right,
have a lot of music in the house growing up? Like, was it always constantly playing, or was it just
it
specific
was
to certain routines?
just like in the car, right? It car rides with the family. It was playing. I have a older sister who's 10 years older than me, and an older brother who's 6. And in the early 90s, um, they got subscriptions to BMG where they would
Yeah.
get CDs mailed to them. So we always had right, I was in the second through really maybe 6th grade, around that time, where they were getting their core BMG subscriptions. So everything from however old you are, from 2nd to 6th grade, I would go into their room and see their CDs and put them in and sing along to them. And I would, kind of pick the ones that I really liked. Certain one, like I remember my brother had the Blues Travelers CD,
Yeah.
and just the listening to Hook and Run Around on repeat.
Was it called
And
4? I think it was 4, wasn't it?
I think it was 4, the one with there's a cat on the front.
Yeah.
Is
Really
green.
good.
And then Spin Doctors, as my sister was in high school, and I remember singing in the 2nd grade, well, if you want to call me baby, just go ahead now. And it was around the house, right? We were just singing Spin Doctors. Nobody played in any bands. My sister wasn't in a band. My brother wasn't, but they all could carry a tune, still can. And my dad was in a barbershop. He was in a barbershop chorus, and then he was in, I think, 1 or maybe 2 quartets at different times, but that happened after he retired from work. That's when he had more time to focus on the quartet. I think that happened after, when he retired. And then my mom was singing my mom and dad sang in the choir at church. But it was never, I don't remember anyone being in a band. I do remember distinctly I got into an argument with my mom as in high school or something about sacrifice, or what they sacrificed to, make sure that we had a nice life. And I remember my mom telling me that, had she thought only about herself, she would have been performing in, some traveling show, because I think they had asked her to perform it, maybe USO type of stuff, when my dad was in the Navy, and she would have had to, spend less time with the family, or get a nanny or a babysitter, so she could be some cool 35-year-old singing starlet. So
it is cool.
And
I love that your dad was in a barbershop quartet. I actually joke with my wife that's like my retirement plan, is that I would love to be a part of an a cappella group. I mean, she doesn't think those are the coolest, but we'll be at Disneyland and I see there's a little quartet there, and I always want to stop and listen. I'm just always floored with the skill that it takes to sing in those harmonies.
I was in an a cappella group in college.
Oh, nice.
Co-ed. And we would compete, and 2 rehearsals a week. But so you've never been in an a cappella? Have you never done that?
No, I've never known anyone that's ever done anything like that. So I would definitely happily join.
It's a whole scene, and if you want to interview people that are deep in the scene, I mean, I know you're starting probably with people that or you've connected with, but
exactly right. But hey, I'm open to the connections.
There, some of the people, I mean, there's people that, if you stay in music long enough, you meet people from all different levels.
Yep.
Even to the point of, I've never personally worked with people that have platinum records,
right?
But it's sort of 1 degree of separation. The guy that's using this place, he recorded bass on something else,
Yeah.
and then he, hey, how are you? Sorry, I'm gonna just give me a
No
second
worries.
here.
No worries.
Could I have a water, and then could I get a like a cookies and cream or Oreo shake? And then I'll do the French dip. Oh no, no French dip right now. I might need a few more
Okay.
minutes then. Thanks. What's up? Yes, please.
No, yeah, I
Sorry, I
mean,
don't.
I'll cut out whatever you want me to cut out so that we can have a streamlined conversation on the
You can,
final edit.
yeah, you can leave it in there if you want. It doesn't,
Yeah, I like
I
it.
don't, I don't want it to be too sloppy, but
I like that you
um,
got an Oreo shake because those are delicious.
I just was trying to think on the top of my head because
Yeah.
he came up, I'm talking to my phone,
Yeah.
and
Sure.
I don't want to be like, okay, this guy's taking this booth. I'm taking a booth,
Yeah. No, I get it.
and
Prime location. But yeah,
yeah,
to your point, I mean, like my claim to fame or what I brag about is I used to play the guy Rome that sang with Sublime after Bradley Noel died. He's
yeah,
from Fremont, so we played shows together at the little Bay Street Coffee right there in Fremont. And when he
wow,
moved to LA, I remember the day he was leaving, we played one more show together, and he's like, "Oh, I'm moving to LA." And I never thought that he was anything fantastic, if I'm being honest. And sorry, Rome, if you ever hear this, I do love you. But I was always supportive of him. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, good luck. There's, I'm sure it's so hard to make it in LA. And then he moved to LA, and then I had heard from another friend that he met Mark McGrath. Like the first week he was there, he met Mark McGrath from Sugar Ray. He was playing like some private party, and Mark McGrath was like, "Hey, you're great. My buddies need a lead singer. Why don't I introduce you?" And I'm like, I cannot believe I've been playing Sublime tunes my whole life. And I'm like, I can't believe this guy moved to LA and literally is playing with Sublime the next week.
his buddies were Sublime.
Yeah. Mark
I think
McGrath from Sugar Ray's buddies were Sublime.
it is interesting to me sometimes how people in like very recognize high status, high um like with positions or bands with a lot of notoriety, they refer to sometimes things of like, hey, a guy I know is doing this thing,
Yeah.
but it's like, oh, hey, there's a guy I know that's like, he's been kind of doing some research with like electric things, and you might want to meet him, and then it's like, oh, I have a meeting with Elon Musk
Yeah.
next week, right?
They always downplay it.
Yeah, I'm more of a straight shooter with things like that. I won't name drop if I try not to name drop to like achieve status, but if I know that I'm trying to get my friend a meeting with, someone that after the meeting they might be a little bit shocked or a little amazed, I might say, hey, do you want to go to the studio in LA? It's a really nice studio. And then I actually might say, like they've actually like mixed some some Justin Bieber songs there, or something like that, or
Awesome.
right things,
You gotta
something
throw
like
that
that. Well,
I actually only tell that story I just told you. I only tell it if I ask for requests at like an open mic. I play an open mic now. I'm in Utah. I play an open mic right here in Utah, and I only tell that story if someone's like, "Hey, do you know any Sublime?" And I go, "Funny story about Sublime. Boy, do I ever."
Speaking about what you do know, though, because here's the thing: is like, right, there's like this 1 degree of separation between um people that might have like celebrity status, but then I think getting the celebrity status removed from like the musician status is something that it took me some time to get to, but I almost view it as almost like a Jedi learning the Force, right? Like you can be very famous or very popular or well known, within the community, but then there's also like that doesn't make you any less of a musician if you're not, Obi-Wan or right, someone who's really famous. You're still like learning the process, going through the rules, learning how to wield your power, learning what your skill is, learning to be humble, to listen. So I almost, because a lot of times, and I used to be harder on myself about maybe not achieving a certain thing when I was younger. And I even have close friends that are like, oh, well, I'm 33 now. I missed my window because Hollywood's looking for people within a certain age. But then, who's to say that when you might have to continue to play, and then you might get some point when you're 62 years old, and then all of a sudden you've been playing some tunes in some place for years, and then all of a sudden you're like the guy that's known in the area of playing tunes at the place because you do it so well because you've been doing it so long and you put the time in. So
100%. And I mean, like, I think, and honestly, the reason that I was also excited about starting this is that it's one of the very few things in life that I truly enjoy, like the journey rather than whatever end goal or great outcome that could come of writing music, right? Like, you write some great songs. I would say hands down, you have songs that if given the right marketing or given the right opportunity, or if it was licensed in some movie, you have songs that 1000% could be, streamed a billion times, in my opinion. I've heard them. I'm floored by them. And I've met a lot of people like that. I've met a lot of, I'm sure you have too. I've brushed shoulders or jammed with people on that Mojo Lounge stage where I'm like, holy smokes, this guy is phenomenal, but he just plays in his bedroom. And, but it's truly a labor of love. And it's truly like, if I don't get further than my bedroom or, the open mic stage with these songs and with my effort, I still think I can die happy just because the journey and the music itself is the value.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it depends on there's different reasons why. There's many different reasons why people sing, then sing in public, or perform, then perform in public. There's a performance aspect, but then there's also this is my craft. This is kind of my calling, and I think that I think people know generally when they're listening to or watching someone perform, if they're experiencing a performance that you can tell that individual put time into learning whatever it is they learned. I mean, one song specifically is the one that you sing. Do you do the "We can feel it all over"? Is that the one?
Yeah,
that's the one. I remember seeing you play that acoustic, and I've never seen. I think it's the one that you do a really cool version of it. Is it that one?
Yeah, and I do the little lead on it and stuff. Yeah, and it did take me a long time to learn that.
I recognize that, and when I heard and saw you listen to you perform that song, I remember going, hey, that's not Wagon Wheel.
Yeah.
That's not Free Fallin'. That's a song that is like a Stevie Wonder song with some complex stuff going on, and it's a really amazing acoustic version. Do you even have that released anywhere? Is that
no, I don't.
You don't even have a tiny desk of that one?
No, I don't. I have recordings of it, but I've never put them on the internet or anything like that. It's literally just like, I throw a little Zoom recorder at a show and I have a bunch of those, but nothing professional.
If you have any Zoom recording that sounds good, it looks good. I mean, that's one of those songs to me that's like a legendary song, a legendary version, and one that if that was just on a video on YouTube, it would be an amazing version just for people to listen to. So like, I think getting the idea of, because right, music is never meant to be this thing that makes someone famous, right?
Right.
There's celebrity status. Music is meant to be expressive, where we express, and then other people who are listening to our expression either like resonate with that and are like, oh, thank you, thank you for sharing your expression with me, that I can tell you put a lot of time and effort, or maybe you just have some natural beautiful gift that you didn't need to put any time and effort. You just walked out and, I'm listening to Mariah Carey do the whistle tones. Like, some things you can teach, but they're more of a natural thing. So it's like, it's but yeah, so it's
But I mean, I think you're right, and I've definitely watched performances before with originals and covers. I mean, like, it's interesting with covers, right? Because I actually really enjoy playing cover songs, but it's really because I think I choose songs that I either have really resonated with in the past, or that have just like, I'm just like, this song is so good. Like, I can't believe I even created this, right? Like, and I love playing those songs or learning those songs and then performing them live. I mean, everyone has, their like, The Joker is mine by Steve Miller Band. Everyone's got the ones that everyone loves, and it's a crowd pleaser in their back pocket.
That was one of my first songs.
Yeah.
What I try to do now is, because I've been playing for a while, and I remember one of the first songs I learned was The Joker. And imagine I'm some 19-year-old kid going to an open mic with like a nice head of hair and skinny jawline, and I'm coming and playing GCD and singing probably better than I ever have sung. And people would come up to me after singing The Joker and be like, you should do American Idol. And so of course I'm listening to all of that and letting it feed my artistic flame, let's say. And now, as I'm older, 20 years, I'm 40, 41 now. But I try to give those people that are learning, that have a lot of talent, I might not give them everything, but I'll let them know that I think that they're, I'll give them their props.
Yeah.
But
I definitely do the same thing. If I was just actually at a wedding not too long ago, and I saw this young group that they're probably 18 or 19, but they were doing some great covers. They did a Chappell Roan song, Pink Pony Club, but just a super soulful kind of breakdown one. And I'm like, you guys have got what it takes, and like, don't stop doing this, because this is amazing. And you meet those people, you meet other people. I've also met people who have been trying for years and it's not clicking, or, and those are tough conversations when they think they have it. And I don't know if it's just a lack of practice or a lack of self-awareness of what sounds good and what doesn't. I don't know. I'm sure you've met people like that before. You host an open mic.
It's interesting because not at this particular open mic that I host. Shameless plug. At Ireland's every Tuesday, late night.
Ireland's 32. Yes,
Ireland's 32.
I would like to. The three people that are going to listen to this, Ireland's 32, Tuesday nights from 9 p.m. to midnight.
And it's 9 to midnight, maybe 9 to 1, sometimes 9:30 to 1. It's a late night open mic, and it's one of the only ones that they have in San Francisco.
Love it.
And sometimes
iconic location, great talented musician host. You got to go and try it once. I am still trying to make it to this day.
One of these days.
Still mad that I didn't make it a few weeks ago.
Oh, that's okay. That you'll be back to the Bay Area again sometime.
I will
soon.
in July, actually. So come in here quick.
Sorry, I got a notification that I've 20%.
Oh, got it. Yeah, well, I'm not going to take up your whole night or ruin your shake experience.
No. It's just music is it's so I didn't ask you any questions. I was kind of talking a lot.
Oh yeah, you don't.
Uh,
I like to be the host, but I'm up for answering any questions you have. I really just want to. I mean, before we don't have to wrap it up, but I just really want to get your idea of where do you think music's headed now. I really want to pick your brain about AI and music, how you feel about it, and if you think it's gonna be. So my opinion, and I'll just share it before you can answer, but my opinion is I think that there's no stopping AI music. They're already coming out with like 60,000 tunes a day,
yeah,
but I think that there's going to be this pushback amongst creatives and amongst the musician community where we're going to revert back to like the live music experience. And I think that there's going to be an opportunity with this community to host live events and really showcase that beautiful experience of seeing someone play live, right? Because like I could put that Surdu cover online and it might not resonate the same way that it does on a stage with like two people in the audience and I'm trying to belt it out and sing my heart out,
Yeah. Well, I think there's different ways to look at it. I think that it probably won't end up helping the people that have made AI artists that actually have songs that I've listened to some AI songs and I'm going like, oh, I kind of like that song actually. That's an interesting song. And then I went to the next point where I thought, I wonder if I could cover that song. And then I was like, well, I wonder if I took that song and I covered it and I streamed it, do I have to pay anyone royalties for that AI song? Or since it's an AI song, can I just get the royalties myself? And then if I start to do shows, we might see new artists that become the live version of an AI artist that gain popularity. And then it's like, well, who's gonna? Oh, I'm this artist. I'm the real life version because I covered all of their songs and we're the ones who perform it the best.
Yeah.
So and it'll actually probably take a lot of the who gets the royalties. I don't really know. I mean, but specifically, there's this artist that I heard that I heard called Reggae Tahiti. And I was listening to it and I was like, I think this is an AI artist. And I researched online and I couldn't find any videos of this artist performing. I couldn't find much done before like 2025, I think. But I was like, these are some really interesting like reggae tunes. And then it started to come into my metrics. And then I just was like, all right, well, I guess I just listened to this artist. And then the next thought is maybe I should just make some cool videos and like, just present myself as this artist as a test, right? As a test to the world, because to click a button and 5 minutes later you have a song that has, that really has the production quality of something that would have taken a few $1,000, if not more, to make in a studio. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I don't think it definitely does devalue. It does devalue digital. It does devalue digital recordings, but there's something in the analog world. If we might revert to like analog recordings, then I saw a video a few nights ago on Christopher Nolan. And he's the movie producer, and he produced the Odyssey. I think it's a new show that he produced. Well, he produced it with. Could I get the short rib nachos, please? Yeah,
that sounds amazing.
Thank you. I just felt the pressure. It came over, and I was like, well, I got to keep on. I would get the first thing that comes.
You just have short rib nachos wherever you go. Yeah.
No, I just looked at the menu and I was like, well, he's there. I'm doing the podcast and let's just make it happen.
Yeah.
I looked at the menu, short rib nachos.
Great. So it makes you a great performer. You're ready. You're ready.
I was not ready at all. I didn't even look at the menu until.
You're a great improviser then.
All right, so but Christopher Nolan, basically the spiel was about how he in his latest movie he used old style video techniques, and he actually didn't record it to digital. He recorded it to tape.
Old school film.
So they spliced it to old school film, and he was talking about how the colors are different, and when you record in photo, you're actually getting a print of the image. You're not getting ones and zeros, a digital representation. I mean, he also was interviewed as saying he doesn't text. Maybe he doesn't have a cell phone.
He still has just like a flip phone. He doesn't have any social media.
So
living in the analog world.
Who's to say what's going to happen?
Yeah.
I think that no matter what happens, the big production houses are going to do whatever they feel like they need to do to make sure that they're getting money.
And
as
they always have.
Right. We thought, okay, now that we have Spotify, then it'll give more money to Spotify to independent artists. Hasn't really generated direct income from sales. It's generated the ability to access artists easily and be exposed to new music that you wouldn't necessarily always be exposed to. But maybe back in the 90s, even early 2000s, a lot of times that would translate to before Napster, basically, right? It would translate to somebody would have to buy a CD, right? Somebody would have to buy a tape, and then you make a recording of a tape. But just like my brother and sister had their BMG club, that I think they would get about 2 or 3 CDs a week. And I think it ended up being like $2 or $3 a CD. So they were paying maybe $30, $40 a month for CDs, $120 a year, or not, no, $34. That's 300. They're spending what?
But they're getting $300 a year, $360 a year, but they're getting, a lot of CDs, hundreds of CDs.
But that was back in the early 90s, adjusted for inflation, and they're buying them from independent artists, smaller labels, and those artists are getting the money from those purchases. So, it's that's why when I go to shows, I try to buy a shirt. I've seen Jesse, Jesse Wells, the artist.
Oh man, do I love him.
I've seen him twice in the past year in the Bay Area, and he just puts on such a nice show. And I had no idea how strong of a jammer he was on guitar. Right.
I've seen some videos on Instagram and he wails.
Yeah. So he's a guy that when you see him, I really appreciate experiencing his show. But the nice thing about someone like that is, 5,000 people in the audience, or, on a late night national talk show, or just seeing him at an open mic, I would have that same level of appreciation for what he was doing.
Yeah.
So, and that's where I hope to grow as a musician in my craft, to eventually be at this point where, regardless of if someone liked my energy or vibed with me, or if there was because sometimes musicians might find ways to be hypercritical of other musicians, but then there's this point that no matter how critical you could be over yourself or over someone else, that you have to sit back and you just recognize, hey, that's someone who put in the time, and I'm so grateful that I got to experience that performance. But
when I was growing up, my dad was he was like a hardcore Stones fan, Rolling Stones fan, and he did not like the Beatles. We never listened to the Beatles. I didn't start listening to the Beatles until I was in my 20s, and I'm like, oh, these guys are actually pretty good. I don't want to let my dad hear me listening to them. And then, so I grew up with kind of that putting other musicians down if I didn't like them. But
Yeah.
then as I hit like my 30s, I was like, man, like everyone's got their style of music and whatever like hits with them and makes their core tingle. And who am I to say like what's good and bad? Like if it's working for you, it works for you. And you know what I really appreciate and what I've read more and kind of what I themed with this project is that, I mean, we've been playing music as a species. In every culture you find music for the last, you know, tens of thousands of years. So like just the notes and the harmonies clearly resonate with us as a species and make us feel good and make us feel, you know, warmth when there's cold and solace when we're in pain. And it really doesn't matter what's coming out. Is if you feel it, you feel it, and if you don't, you don't. And it's I mean, that's why a lot of musicians hate music critics, because it's like, yeah, maybe it's not great for you, and maybe you can bag it and you make your living, you know, crapping on awful musicians that you think are terrible, but it, you know, for other people, it's literally life changing.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we get blinded too by our own like growth and success, that we forget that like most people can't just get up and play a G chord on guitar. Right. And you, in my opinion, you're a very advanced, you might think you're an okay guitar player, but in the scheme of everyone on the planet, you're a fairly advanced guitarist. You're not maybe virtuoso style where no one's calling you like, hey, can you play some, like, can you be the lead guitar solo on the new, you know, Michael Jackson reprint album?
For
right?
sure.
Not yet. Or hey, we want you to be on the, we want you to play, you know, but if someone were to tell me that you got asked to play at like a Stevie Wonder tribute concert where Stevie Wonder brought on a bunch of like his favorite artists that have covered his songs, I would say, oh, I would believe that, right?
Yeah.
So like, for what it's
maybe
worth,
the kindest thing that's anyone's ever said. So I very much appreciate that. The whole reason I was stoked to bring you on, Phil, is because you, I mean, like, you know, when I hosted that open mic and at the Mojo Lounge in Fremont, I met, you know, we met a lot of people there that are either just first timers. And so to them, I'm the best player that they've ever met. But when I meet someone like you and I'm like, oh, holy smokes, this guy like is giving me a run for my money, and certainly someone I can learn things from. And you had covers. I think you did Fly Me to the Moon. I really loved, you just posted the other day, or maybe a month ago. I love that Paul Simon, Still Crazy After All These Years. And you did a cool version of that. You just came in with a lot of jazzy chords that you don't typically hear at an open mic. And I was like, oh man, this guy is just perfection on the stage. And I also loved, and we got to talk about your fashion sense, because you also brought a level of coolness with some of your outfit choices that, you know, for a dive bar, we were like, this guy's, you know, top of the world.
Back in the day, you know what? I think it was during, I used to walk around with a leather jacket, and that was like my go-to jacket when I would go places. But I'm just wearing some sweaters.
I still dig it. Still looking good. Still looking fly.
But thanks.
But yeah, so tell me now. I mean, I guess, you know, I'm not gonna. I don't want a 2-hour podcast or anything. But
no, my phone is about 6%.
What's okay? Yeah, we'll wrap it up. But what do you? I mean, other than your open mic, you playing any other live shows? What's your availability these days? I'm sure you're working full time like the rest of us struggling musicians.
I'm working, and I'm trying to use kinder language actually with myself, and it's like this self-deprecating thing that musicians do, starving artist, musician, or things like that. And I try to speak more just positive things into my world, because I like to think of myself as, let's just say, potential energy, right? Not kinetic 100%. Or things like that. So I have made it an effort to show up every Tuesday to the open mic, and that's my performance in the world. If not as many people come, I'll have a little more time to do performance. And then it's kind of nice to just, when I have my guitar, I'll sit and I'll work on things that I'm trying to learn. and new chords. I do have a guitar teacher. He's an amazing teacher. His name's Tony Baker,
Nice.
and I get lessons somewhat regularly from him. But sometimes he teaches me things that are kind of so advanced that I can't really learn it in a week, or maybe I didn't have the time to sit and practice that one thing. But I'll sort of take that concept, and once I can integrate that concept into my playing, I might go to the open mic, and for 5 minutes or so, I might just play that arpeggio.
Yeah, and noodle around a little bit.
Kind of noodle around as I'm like doing the sound check and things like that, right? And so this is sort of not a full cocoon phase, but this is kind of a maybe play in my room phase. But I do play out right on Tuesdays. I'm open for gigs. But I do want to be in a band. That's one of the reasons why I was excited to move to the Bay Area. It's because I felt like I had a lot to offer. I still do feel like I have a lot to offer a band.
Yeah.
Multi-instrumentalist, sing, play. And so I'm like, well, who knows? Maybe something like that could happen out of the open mic that I host. If not, it's still beautiful to every night. It's a band for that moment on stage. If someone asks me to jam, or if I ask someone to jam, and sometimes that happens, where people will sometimes even get two sets where they can do their singer-songwriter set, and then maybe if not as many people come, they come back in the rotation and they say, "Hey, do you want to come jam a few?" And we're jamming songs.
Love it. I love that whole kind of community and communal effort too, where you just hop up and let's just play on some chords, or maybe we know a simple song or something like that. It's beautiful.
Yeah. The jammer, right? It takes time though. Not everyone's. It's a language, right? And you have to be able to speak. You can have a conversation like we're having musically, but for some people, they can't talk back and forth in the same type of way, or right, what they're using is very childlike phrases that they might not be able to add as much complex phrases to your music, but that's a part of all of it. So and I think I'll kind of close with this, is the viewing musical growth and progress as this thing that once you start to dive into, it can just continue to go deeper and deeper and deeper, and kind of like a Jedi learning the Force, and then all of it, if you make it to become an old man or an old woman, then hopefully you're the next one in line that's teaching the younger people.
That's right.
And you didn't stop learning when you were 30 because you didn't become a platinum selling artist, or when you're 40 because you had to work a few more years, or because you had kids and a family, or you are allowed to continue to get deeper and deeper. And then there's nothing wrong with being in your 60s and at that point having some interesting, being a part of a music scene that, put it this way, achieving your whatever musical goal you had in mind at that time. My musical goal is specific. I'd love to be in a band, record an album, maybe do a mini tour, and have it be well received. Have it be a good enough album that people want to come experience the show, because in the same way that I could tell Jesse Wells put the time in, they go, wow, I'm experiencing a band that I can tell put the time in to give me a really good show. Thank you. I can't believe there's not more people here, or whatever people say, or
I love it. That's an incredible and achievable goal. Well, Phil, I think your phone died, but but I very much appreciate your time. And it looks like we closed right at the right time. I can't wait to see you at the open mic at Ireland's 32 on Tuesday, one of these days. And yeah, thanks for hopping on to the Great Wide Open Mic podcast. Talk to you soon, brother.
Darling, please go to bed. It's been a lonely day. Let this song soothe your head and take your cares away. Maybe I'll see you soon, if only in your dreams. Save a space with room for two underneath the trees. And you will find me there, and we will not be scared. In days we cannot be, I'll see you in your dreams. Soon you'll be counting sheep and dancing on a cloud. Troubles that keep your feet standing on the ground, they don't exist in this place, and they never will. Let this bliss light your face with a silent stare, and you will find me there. We will not be scared. In days we cannot be, I'll see you in your dreams. See you in your dreams.